To the next item, if the clerk will please read G3.
Item G3, resolution approving the sale of city-owned land by private sale to the arts-based school.
Mr. Rao, I know we discussed this a month or so ago, but if you please reintroduce it so it's fresh in everyone's mind.
Yes, sir, Chairman Clark. So in recent years, the arts-based school has experienced significant growth, and they currently have a wait list of between 400 and 500 students. They've recently entered into a lease with the Winston-Salem Forsyth County School Board to lease space at the former Diggs Elementary School, and have started a K through 1 grades there this school year. But in addition to that, they are looking to expand their campus there to eventually include a middle school. And so requests came before this committee last month. It was an information item for the city to sell 8.91 acres located west of the former Diggs Elementary School to the arts-based school to help them to further develop their campus. It was noted at the time that this particular tract of land has been identified as a potential site for affordable housing, so that was presented to the Finance Committee at the time. Under state statute, the city can't donate land to a nonprofit organization, so we would be looking to sell this land to the arts-based school at a nominal price, $1. That's the resolution that's before you all today, is to sell this 8.91 acre tract to the arts-based school for $1. At the meeting last month, there were questions from council members about the demographics of the students, the staff, and the board. Also, there were questions about the lottery process that they would use to enroll the students into the grades there at the former Diggs School. That information was included in this particular action item. As part of the purchase agreement that the city would draft, if it's approved by council, there would be, we would retain a deed restriction on the property for 30 years to ensure that the property is being used for the public purpose for which we are selling it, which is for educational programs. At the end of the 30-year term, the city would release the deed restriction, assuming that the terms of the agreement have been met. Griff Morgan, who's been working very closely with the arts-based school, is here today to answer any questions you have about the arts-based school's plans for that 8.91 acres, and also if you have any questions about the demographic information or the lottery process that they provided to you all.
Okay. Any questions right at this moment? Come on up, sir. Is there any comments you would like to add?
Thank you, Chairman Clark, Mayor Pro Tem Adams, Councilmember Taylor, and McIntosh. I think the most important thing to add is that we started this process of looking to expand to a second campus 5 years ago. When we realized that Diggs may be a possibility, a former historically African-American school in a community where housing had been disrupted and torn down, we waited a long time to find and try to put our second campus in that Diggs campus for several reasons. One, we think that a school enriches a neighborhood and a community, and we wanted to see Diggs come back to life as an educational center and not simply a place where items were being stored by the school system. Also, it is very close to Winston-Salem State University and very close to the North Carolina School of the Arts, and we wanted to create a partnership with those two institutions. One with the School of the Arts to build an after-school, community-wide youth education program that would give people the opportunity to learn music, to learn theater, to learn dance in a place that was equally central to the Latinx community, the African-American community, and the white community. And so Diggs was a perfect location to build that partnership. The School of the Arts Chancellor, Brian Cole, is on board. He has built a very similar community-wide program in Puerto Rico where he taught before coming here, and he has the knowledge and ability to build that kind of community-based education program. We have added several people from the Winston-Salem State's Education Department to our board because we want to work with them on creating a better teacher education program that can fund teachers coming back into the Winston-Salem State public school system. And so this thought about using digs and being in that location was not just an opportunity, but it was really a place that we worked hard to get to because of the way we thought it could serve the city. Diggs, as you may know, lost a whole arm of its school when 52 was expanded, and so now it is not large enough to do the things that we want to do, which is to grow from a K2, K1, K2 school to a K through 8 school. And this additional land of almost 9 acres would allow us to create the kind of dance studios, theater studios, music studios that in collaboration with the School of the Arts would allow us to do an after-school and weekend education program in those, as well as serve the school. So we're hoping that it's a facility that is used not just during the school day, but in the afternoons and the weekends, and that's what we're envisioning.
The demographics you have are for the current art-based school, is that correct?
The current arts-based school, which now has 2 campuses, it has what we call the North Campus on Martin Luther King, which has a K through 8 school, and then just opened in August, we opened 2 kindergarten classes and 2 first grade classes in the lower wing of Diggs. So we're operating there.
You are there now, okay. All right.
And it includes both.
Okay, any questions? Miss Carmen, our attorney, has a comment.
Yes, I would like for Attorney Morgan to clarify for the committee the entity that will actually hold title to the land if this is approved.
Yes, and I was slow in talking to Mr. Rowe about this, but charter schools are not allowed to hold real property by statute. So there is an organization, a 501c3 organization called the Arts-Based School Supporting Organization, which we use to raise funds outside the normal school curriculum and which can hold real property. So if the council would approve this, it would be titled in the Arts-Based School Supporting Organizations. And I can provide Ms. Carbon and Ms. Rowe our organizational documents and bylaws if that would be
Ms.
helpful.
Carmen, does that create any special issues for us?
Of course, the entity that buys the property would be required to adhere to the restrictions, but I think we also would have to involve the school somehow to make sure that it's clear that all involved parties have to adhere to the restrictions, but we'll work it out if it's approved.
Yeah. Any other questions, comments? Let me make a comment. As chair, I have done some county noses, and the committee is somewhat divided on this. The primary issue from the committee standpoint is do we use this for housing or schools? Having said that, I'm not sure I even have the votes to move it from committee.
I need a comment when you finish, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so at the appropriate time, I'm going to suggest that we move it forward without recommendation and let the full council vote. And Ms. Adams had a comment, then Mr. Mundy.
Yes, thank you, Chair Clark. Again, Mr. Morgan, you know we go way back, and some of the rest of you as well. I have, again, when entities, organizations, nonprofits, businesses come to the council, as I always tell them, I don't have a problem with what you're trying to do. I have the problem with that as a council member representing the people of Winston-Salem, and I was born near Diggs. I lived on Southbound. It's not there. Highway 52 took that away. But the thing with me is I've been on this council 13 years. And this land, just like other lands in our city right now with this housing crisis, is set aside for housing. And that's what, my heart is with that. I believe that once again, you tell the community that we're going to do housing. And anybody that knows anything about that particular land, If you're on top of it, they got some of the best views in the city. Most of our neighborhoods, black and poor neighborhoods, we don't have that kind of variety of mountains and greenery, and you can look out and you can see all the way downtown and across town. We don't have that because of construction. What I'm saying again is I applaud you all and anybody, because I'm a big proponent of education. Nobody on this council can say that I'm not. But right now, Dee Adams is in the fast lane of trying to create some houses for people to stay in. And I know the argument may be that, well, we need the schools. We need to make sure that the children have somewhere to go to school. Again, I have no issue with it. But I'm going to stand with what I believe in and what I have been with for 13 years and before. And Attorney Morgan, you know this. I've been a proponent of housing and community development since the 80s. And I'm not going to back down off that. Thank you, Chair Clark.
Mr. Mundy.
No, I didn't have a question.
Okay, Mr. McIntosh.
Yeah, I'm going to echo Mayor Pro Tem's comments. So we have to go through, and we do community agency funding every year. We have to pick amongst a slew of very worthwhile groups to fund. ARPA, we have to sort of, go through and again, pick and choose amongst quite a few very reputable, very worthwhile groups. But housing has been our stated priority goal now for years and years. And as wonderful as this would be as a school property, it really does fall into our sweet spot in terms of what works as housing. So I'll just leave it at that.
With that, go ahead. Anyway.
Respond for a minute.
Yes, sir.
Mayor Pro Tem Adams, I don't know in 2 minutes whether I'm going to change your longstanding views or not, but I'm going to give it a try. I think what we are talking about here, and I absolutely agree with you. Most of the land in Happy Hills should be devoted to housing, and it should be devoted to housing that goes back to the historic community that has been there. You and I have no disagreement on that. I think having a school in that community is of utmost importance. I think also having not just a school, but having a program, a community-based program that brings together Winston-Salem State and the School of the Arts and a public charter school together to help serve that local community and the broader community around that will make that community more vibrant than a few additional houses on that lot. Now, like I said, I'm not sure I can convince you in 2 minutes, but I would offer to you and to any members of this council to come take a tour of the schools that we have. Come walk through us with us, see what we're doing with these children, and see if that helps change your mind. So I have an invitation to all of you to come visit our school.
As I mentioned earlier, I would like to just have a motion to move this forward with that recommendation. And have the council voted up or down.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Everyone, and by the way, for you folks out there, only the committee votes at this level. But everyone will get a chance to vote.
And they need to understand, Chair Clark, that we're only voting to move it forward.
Yeah, we're simply moving it forward to the full board. If not, it would sit in the committee forever. And I will say, now that we've voted to, I'm assuming we voted. Everybody vote? Mr. Taylor, have you voted?
I have.
Yep.
Oh, okay, we got it. I would just make a comment now that I will not influence the vote. I don't have any trouble building a school there. There are dozens and dozens and dozens of empty lots in Happy Hills. We've got years worth of house building we can do over there. And I truly believe a premier school would make that an attractive place to live. But it doesn't make sense to build a school unless you build it beside the existing school that you're adding on to. Whereas, as I said, we could build 50 or 60. Anybody in the room know how many empty lots there are in Happy Hills? 95? Is that the number I heard? Yes. Okay, 95. And that's single family. Now, there's some HUD issues out there which we're dealing with, but I think we could have a nice school addition and 95 new homes. But I will let the mayor deal with that. And by the way, the next meeting of the council is Monday next week. at 7 o'clock in this room. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the last item is
Item G3, resolution approving the sale of city-owned land by private sale to the art-based school supporting organization.
Councilmember Scipio, I believe, needs to continue this item.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. I would like to move to continue item G3, the resolution approving the sale of city-owned property by private sale to the arts-based school supporting organization to the City Council's meeting on October 17th, 2022.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. So, Councilmember Scipio, make comments on this?
Yes. You never expect to have so much dissension over something that has the possibility to be so good for a neighborhood. However, there has been a lot of disinformation that has been released over the last several days. Some of it is absolutely incorrect. There's no attempt to rename Happy Hill something else. And so I would like to invite everyone who wants to know about what we want to do with the arts-based school to come to a community meeting on Wednesday, September 28th at 6 p.m. at the Sims Center to get the correct and complete information, not assumptions, nothing about racism. I've been very saddened to see and hear some of the comments that have gone out in social media because we can't have a unified city when people are creating dissension. And it hurts me because I love this city and I went to school in Happy Hill and I know the people who live there. There's so much wonderful things that could happen there, and it has the most unique history of any section of this city for African Americans. So I would like to have a public meeting with anyone who wants to come. And we will reach out to all of the residents that are there now to let them know, because we haven't heard from them. We've heard from other people who may have had a relationship with the community in the past. But I regret that this has happened in this way. And if I have been remiss with any of our residents, I apologize to you right now if I've been remiss. But I certainly operated and have operated with an understanding that the community was in favor of the school, and that seems to be changing. And so we will have an open discussion on next Wednesday at 6 o'clock.
Councilmember Clark?
Yeah, prior to the next month meeting, Mr. King, I'd like to know how many lots are available for building in the greater Happy Hills area, and I would, broken down by the ones the city owns and the one that Halls owns. I've heard anywhere from 50 to 90. So it'd be nice to have a legitimate number. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem, Madam.
Yes, and again, Mayor, I will stand by what I've said in general government and finance, that I don't support this. You know, I want to be clear. If you go back and look at the tape, look at the meeting, I'm on my soapbox because it was not promised for that. And I have asked staff to go ahead and get the timeline as to when this went down, that we decided to go with the Happy Hill community. That, like I tell people, that site is one of the best sites in the city. The view from up on top of that hill. So my Happy Hill folk, again, I was born on southbound of the railroad track. Y'all can look down on us from the hill. I'm not supporting that. Sorry.
So we have a motion to continue this item to the October 17th meeting. All those in favor of this would be voting yes on this. Anyone opposed to the continuance, vote no. And On the motion, it's tied there, and I'll vote yes to continue this item to give Councilmember an opportunity to speak with her constituents on this.